I found this really pretty garden here. Let's see if I can. Sorry, I don't have a stabilizer on my camera, so if it's really shaky, I'm sorry. I can't really see the display very well. Here we go. I mean, it makes no sense for me to film this way because the pretty garden is this way. Right? This is just a practice of mine to keep recording, to keep filming, and to keep going, and to give a little energy to the internet, little sparks of inspiration. Some wisdom that came to mind today was sometimes we forget we have a body. And it's important to remember that you have a body and to do things that remind you that you have a body. A lot of our day-to-day activities involve screens, involve using our heads, but not our bodies very much. And I think it's a very human thing to not want to use our bodies to do things. I think it's a very human thing to want to order out or to get things delivered rather than go out and get them. I think it's a very human thing to not want to exercise, even though we want to be healthy. And it's just one of those things that I want to challenge and talk about, because if we want to live well, it's something we have to reorganize our minds around. Using our bodies for anything is ultimately inconvenient. And I think the best example of this is that movie WALL-E and what humans became on that ship. I think is a perfect example of what humanity is capable of if we don't recognize the importance of inconveniencing ourselves and pushing on the pain aspect of our pain-pleasure, what did she call it? Pain-pleasure balance, I guess. Pushing on the pain side of our pain-pleasure balance in a homeopathic way, of course. For example, taking a cold shower or a cold bath. One second. There's a woman crying over there, and I just asked her if she was okay. Spike in dopamine from cold showers, and even though it is painful for a second, the effects of it last for hours. Exercising first thing in the morning is painful. There's definitely an aversion to going to do that, but the effects of it are lasting. Things that require you to use your body are so good for you, and we tend to choose convenience anyway. But I think what can help us to make a decision that will make us feel better in the long run is starting to associate convenience with the numbness, the boredom, the anxiety, and the depression that comes from it. If we can link the action with the consequence and have the awareness before we make a choice, I think it will help inform us much better. For example, what's a good example? I'll use weed as an example. I now associate getting high with a feeling of anxiety, with a feeling that is not pleasant. And there can be pleasant effects from it. It's not like every single time I smoke weed that I'm going to feel really terrible, but usually there is some anxiety involved. There is a balance that is affected that ends up making me feel bad, or the food that tastes really good but ends up making me feel bad later on. I remember that it's going to make me feel bad after, and that helps me. I know that the long-term effect is going to feel good. Just like making these YouTube videos, I'm uncomfortable, I'm anxious while I'm making them, especially before I hit record. Spending hours editing, uploading something that I'm not sure about, uploading something that I don't know if people are going to get something from, are all things that, I'm definitely backlit right now. Like, my videos aren't going to be perfect for a long time. Just being in this process, as uncomfortable as it is good for me. And getting outside and walking around and going to the library and carrying books and all of that kind of stuff is a happy inconvenience. Maybe that will be the title of this video, Happy Inconveniences. We have to start associating the long-term feeling with this short-term action or behavior, the long-term feelings, because these short periods of dopamine have consequences. I hate when bugs go close to my ears. Oh, this tree is full of lanternflies. Oh, there are a lot of them. Yeah. Anywho's, like associating short spikes of dopamine with long periods of numbness, depression, and anxiety is ultimately the only thing that can help us make better decisions. And living your life dopamine spike to dopamine spike, that's gonna... Oh, I think my mom's calling me. Hello? Hi. Yeah, so we have to associate certain behaviors with the long-term feeling rather than the short-term feeling. And I don't know what part of the brain that is, but I know that if we keep using it, it'll keep developing. My boyfriend was telling me about this, that he learned this on the Huberman podcast, that there's a certain part of your brain that only grows when you do things you don't want to do. You can fact check that, or maybe I'll fact check myself and put the study or the part of the brain that is over here somewhere. But we kind of have to do things we don't want to do, and especially the things we don't want to do that have really good long-term effects. And doing this kind of stuff, making myself vulnerable, allowing myself to be seen, ultimately is going to have an effect on me, because I'm constantly improving myself as a YouTuber, trying to constantly improve my videos, and just show up here with some good energy and hopefully affect people in a positive way. That's all I'm trying to do over here. So I think that's all I have to say, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.